Greetings, programs. We're going to get into DCEASED. Basically, DC's versus zombie story. We open up with basically Justice League has defeated Darkseid in his invasion of Earth. Through the narration, we also realize that seemingly this may have been this universe's Justice League finest hour, but also their last hour together. And the thing is that in this defeat, Wonder Woman, obviously with the lasso of truth, pushes Darkseid to tell the truth of never returning and making sure he doesn't come back to Earth. But the issue here isn't him walking away and saying that he's not going to come back. He says exactly, "I will not return. I have no need. For the truth is, I have what I came for." Then obviously everyone is like, that was ominous. What is going on? Batman is alerted that Cyborg is missing. And what we learn is that within Cyborg's subroutines, he has a tracker built into him, and that it would be irresponsible to not track someone like Cyborg who has apocalyptic technology attached to him. And obviously the Flash and others have an issue of him tracking them. And basically in this universe, this is where the team and the hero community essentially learns Batman tracks and has whatever going on with his plans and whatnot for the heroes. And as the issue as this is, immediately is swept away because the issue at hand is where is Cyborg. And then we jump to Apocalypse, where we realize that for whatever reason, Darkseid needed Apocalypse. But we also see that DCEASED, basically one of the minions of Darkseid, starts explaining or attempts to ask Cyborg, does he know the anti-life equation? Which here he explains to him, which isn't just for explaining to Cyborg, which shows in this universe they haven't had heavy interaction with the anti-life equation, but also to the audience of anyone who doesn't know what it is. Basically, it is a equation of life that allows whoever wields it to dominate the will of others. And the thing is that Darkseid has one half, and it was believed that the other half would appear on Earth, and in some way, somehow, it has formed itself to Cyborg on Earth, which doesn't necessarily seem all that out of the norm, seeing that Cyborg is partial human, partial machine. So, take it as you can. And so, thing is that they attempt to fuse the two halves together, digital and physical. And DCEASED brings up an issue of that if Cyborg were to die, the equation will be lost to them forever. So Darkseid does the one thing that is dope. He summons death, or at least an aspect of death, being the Black Eraser. And if I remember right, the Black Eraser essentially is the death to the gods, like the new gods. And the thing is that I would say an aspect of death because there also is the Black Flash, who is the death for speedsters. And the thing is that in this situation, DCEASED and Darkseid take a part of death and adds it to the equation. But the thing is that that was the wrong thing to do. Because like with any equation, you add a new variable, you change it completely. But in this moment, we see the change, and Darkseid is affected immediately. He is incensed, tearing into his skin. Realizing this is an issue, DCEASED does the only thing he can and sends Cyborg through a boom tube, seemingly back to Earth. But this doesn't change anything because Darkseid rips into the Black Eraser, then jumping out and tearing into Apocalypse itself. But back on Earth, Cyborg is dropped in the middle of the city. He attempts to cut himself off from the internet, realizing what's about to happen, that he's about to connect and spread the new anti-life equation. But it's too late. The people start taking pictures. The people are infected left and right. Chaos reigns. And the issue is that it's no longer people's wills being dominated. It is now death dominating the will of the people, turning them into death themselves, no longer being able to be alive, no longer be able to be who they were. And from here, we go over to Superman, who rightly assumes that with Cyborg disappearing and Darkseid being the last thing they encountered, who do you go to with the two most experts of Darkseid? Mr. Miracle, the son of High Father, and who was raised on the Apocalypse, and the former Fury of Darkseid, Big Barda. And the thing is that in this moment, Superman hears the chaos outside, realizes what's going on, and decides to run to his wife and son, stopping them from looking at any screens. But from here, we also go over to Batman, who is realizing that this isn't just a digital issue, it is a physical infection. And as he's understanding how many are going to be infected, what's going on, like every detail that he can, he realizes he has to shut down Wayne Manor. And in doing so, he believes that hopefully he did it in time. So he runs, calling for Alfred, calling for Grayson and Tim. But the issue is that it's too late. Grayson and Tim have been infected. He attempts to fight them, to hold them off, hoping to reason with them to bring them back. But it's too late. And in doing so, he also leaves himself open to infection. We then transition over to Aquaman as he sees a ship that seemingly has a crew of infected. They overtake him, and in this instance, we don't just lose the King of Atlantis, but seemingly we lose the Seven Seas. Going back over to John and Damien, John attempts to give comfort to Damien about his father and that he's going to be okay. And like any child, he's going to put up a front and say he's not worried. But Lois's parents, which I find funny here, she says her father didn't trust smartphones and that her parents are going to a bunker, which is like, General Lane can do that. But the funniest thing is that, oh yeah, of course, he's going to his own personal bunker. But Lois suggests that they go to the Daily Planet. But we jump over to Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn and Gotham. I know we're jumping around a bit, and for this beginning bit, we're definitely going to be jumping around a lot. It's just setting up different plots to end up connecting, so stay with me. In this moment, they're talking, and seemingly Harley is about to go out and do something that for many Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy fans, you can already assume that she's going off to speak with the Joker. But the thing is that Poison Ivy wants to give her support and let her know that she can do this out on her own. And the thing is that something that you should keep in mind as we're going from the story and from this point right here is that Poison Ivy says, I'll be waiting for you in the botanical garden. And yes, that sounds like, oh yeah, of course she lives in a botanical garden. Keep this in mind as we move forward in the story though. But we stay with Harley Quinn as she goes to the Joker hideout and is basically breaking things off, which shows in this universe how early on we are in this timeline and how this is where she's just starting to break things off with it. And so then from here, we jump over to Black Canary, Green Arrow, and Green Lantern camping in the woods, which is also showing us that we are still in the early stages of the apocalypse, basically, because only the Justice League and possibly anyone else who has had immediate interaction with the infection knows what's going on. And the three of them, they're camping, laughing, making whatever jokes, talking. The thing is that Hal does not want to be camping. He decides he's going to turn in early. And the thing is that he comes busting out infected, and more likely he opened his phone when he got into his tent. But something I would love, this detail I really love right here, is it says Green Lantern of Sector 2814, lethal force is not sanctioned, showing that the Sinestro Corps is not a thing in this universe, and that whole debacle, that whole event that leads to the Green Lantern Corps to have lethal force implemented has not taken place. From here, a fight breaks out between the three of them, and Canary uses her Canary Cry on him, essentially killing him. But we jump back to Metropolis City with Superman and the rest of them. And the thing is that they're attempting to get into the building, be able to get a message out to the people. But Superman x-rays the building, realizing monsters, everyone's infected, and that now he's like just saddened. But he hears a scream outside the city where we realize Hal Jordan is officially dead, and the Ring looks for a new wielder, which, oh my gosh, this moment right here. Dia gets the Green Lantern ring, and from this moment forward, I'll just be calling her the Green Canary, and this just is dope. And things that she initially tries to reject it, because for anyone that doesn't know, the moment you get a Green Lantern ring, you can reject it, you can say no to it, but Superman tells her that we're going to need it, that she's going to need to be a lantern in this moment. And we get back to the rest at the planet, where Batman calls in and he's trying to let everyone know what's going on. And Batman lets them know, for anyone that wants the more technical of what's going on, instead of just DC versus zombies, Batman says that they're not consumed by hunger, they're not feeding, they're spreading death, they're stealing life. These are the anti-living. The trigger is the equation. And the thing is that from here, or not even from here, but from this moment, I know you're probably wondering, how is Batman alive? How is he speaking to us? Has he beat it through sheer will? Has he found a cure? And no, that's not the case. He has taken one of Mr. Freeze's suits to slow down his infection. And you have Alfred in the back, prepared to do what's needed soon. And so from here, Clark and the others, they essentially are trying to be like, you can beat it. It has to be some way to do it, like, what can we do? Batman lets them know that there's nothing that can be done. Time is of the essence. And so he lets them know that they have to destroy the internet in order to protect the people and to somehow stop the infection, because it's not just the infection of physical, it's also through digital screens. And so from here, he talks to his son, which I love this. I don't know if it was an artistic choice or if this just how the artist draws Damian. But when it comes to Batman and those like Robin and them with their kind of mask, there's always white eyes. But the thing is, in this moment, we see Damian's saddened eyes and like his worry is like Batman. And Batman doesn't even refer to him as Robin. He says Damian, and basically has a briefcase ready for him, which will hold a Batman suit, because he knows that Damian would have earned it. And from this moment, he calls to his father, he calls to his dad, showing that, this is the end. And so Alfred decides to cut transmissions, because no child, no one should have to hear their best friend and their father turn into a monster and get gunned down. So if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button, and stay nerdy.